Good evening. Let me be the first to say that it appears that the information concerning the Black Lives Matter movement and their potential for race riots at the conventions was erroneous, and sounding that bell could have been a little premature. However, I would probably do it again the same way, and I fully expect to get the ridicule and to hear about it on the social media, because I was ringing that bell on social media the same way as I am with these videos. However, I did want to mention that the idea or the potential for the problems that they were talking about with the information through the hacked phone of DeRay McKesson, it could very well have been that the information that was leaked caused them to kind of change their plans, because it seems as though if they would have moved forward with that plan, then people would have been much more aware and much more likely to resist, knowing that that information was out there, knowing that that's what the intention was. So that could very well have been our saving grace. So I do want to send a shout out and a thank you to the Saint for getting that information out. Now, if that information was leaked with a purpose to have everybody, staring at the conventions, and then once the conventions are over and nothing happens, and then become deflated, let their guard down, and then a week or two from now, a month from now, they kick off something that is much more devastating, then it appears as though it's not sort of planned and it's not intentional. So the convention is wrapping up. Well, the Democratic convention is wrapping up tonight. I think it's right about 8:30 on Thursday night. So I wanted to throw that out there, that as of yet, nothing coming across. And something I did want to mention, though, is I listened to the scanners, the Cleveland scanners, the last night of the convention. I didn't even think to do that until I saw a different video, a live stream where they were monitoring the scanners, and I was just like, wow, that's brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? Well, the scanner communication in Cleveland, I must say, was much more concise, and they depended on that air traffic quite a bit more than what I can discern from Philadelphia. Philly, I've tried several different precincts, and really all I'm getting is just the normal chatter you would expect from a big city, armed robbery calls, or missing persons reports, or people with guns. Didn't really hear anything concerning what was happening with the convention, or the details that are the police details that were assigned to the convention security. I've been trying to feed through the live streams and to see what's actually happening, because I don't trust the mainstream media for anything. I don't trust a single word. They could say "the" and I don't trust it. So again, the Cleveland, monitoring the Cleveland police force was much more concise. It was much more informative between departments and agencies and individuals. They were much more communicative to each other in watching certain individuals, and and I'm sure it's probably due to the fact that Ohio is an open carry state. So I'm sure that had much more to do with it. I don't know whether or not Pennsylvania is, but it doesn't appear to me that they are, just through the chatter and the videos and the live feeds, and the idea that, if we make it through these conventions, that, the smoke will clear and we're all good to go and there's no issues. I do want to mention that there was another member of Black Lives Matter who, pardon me, who stated that they were going to start violent riots if Trump is elected. Now, that in and of itself is, it's kind of a foreboding, because that's 4 months away. And if that is the case, in 4 months, that's going to be, today will be ancient history. So I guess what I'm getting at is, if we were vigilant through the convention and the information that was leaked from the Saint prevented something from happening, then if we stay just as vigilant after the conventions, before the elections, and if anybody gets any hint of any information, if they put it out so everybody knows about it, then it'll make it much more difficult for them to enact their plans and move their agenda forward. So, I guess I'm just asking that we keep our guard up, and we stay aware and we stay vigilant. Now, having said that, if we do make it to the elections, something that I would certainly ask folks to do is to check out a video called Clinton Cash. And if you watch that, if you are considering at all whatsoever voting for Hillary, hopefully that will change your mind. Because I think what we're going to see, myself personally, I believe she's already been chosen, she's been selected, she'll be coronated as the president if we make it to that point. I don't think there's anything other than an assassin's bullet that is going to change that. And because I believe the hidden hand and the global cabal have chosen her to be in that seat. And that movie, Clinton Cash, it lays out a pattern of behavior that we will be able to expect if she reaches the highest office in this country. As Secretary of State, it was basically, she used that position to garner wealth for her. She used it as her own private money-making system. And, she's done things that are, in my opinion, treasonous. She knew that the Russians were attempting to purchase control in some of our uranium markets. And uranium is a critical asset. And, you don't share your critical assets with people who are supposedly, enemies. And now Russia controls more than 20% of our uranium production. And so they can take that uranium and they can send it right to Iran, which we just gave, or Obama wants to give $150 billion to, for them to, apparently start their nuclear program. So there's a lot of things that are still in play before these elections. And I would ask folks to remain vigilant because of the things that are still potentially, that we still have the potential to see come, the next 4 months. Because there could be any number of things that they can use to declare martial law. So the idea that it won't happen now just simply because we've made it through the conventions, I think would be a mistake to just brush it off now, to just look at me like I'm a crackpot. So if you stumble across my videos, And if I could make any suggestions, I would suggest that you do a little bit of research on Agenda 21, watch Clinton Cash, and also we need to, still remain vigilant about the potential for problems through Black Lives Matter. One example would be the march that they were organizing in Philadelphia. I believe it was yesterday, maybe the day before, where a woman is on a loudspeaker and she's shouting that all whites need to move to the back. Move to the back. This is a black and brown issue. This is, which to me is more racially divisive than if they were to say, hey, everybody who's concerned about this issue, come with us. If they're talking about Black Lives Mattering, well, why would you try to alienate anyone unless there was a different agenda? And my personal opinion is the BLM is trying to perpetrate racial division the same way that the KKK does, which I have no affinity for them either. I think they need to be, disappear as well. But according to what I'm hearing and seeing, I would almost think that the Black Lives Matter movement could be classified as a hate group, or possibly even a terrorist group, depending on what we see in the future. However, the point of this video was to say that, as of yet, the Summer of Chaos appears to be erroneous. The leak of the information could have altered the plans. So I'm just asking folks, if you watch this, just please, stay aware. Keep watching the alternative media for things that are truly happening in this country, because you will never see what's going on in the mainstream media. The mainstream media is only there as a propaganda tool for the official story. So whatever they want you to know, they will tell you. If there's anything out there that is contradictory to the official version of events, you will never see it. If there's anything that supports the official version, then they'll flood every television in America with it. So if we can just remain aware, keep our guard up, and I think now is probably more important than even before the conventions. So anyhow, I just wanted to get that out there, and hopefully we can make it through this, and hopefully it's all just, just the ramblings of a crackpot. So anyhow, thank you for your time, and have a good evening.